Hey, hi everyone, John Lee here, your local realtor, aka the Property Shark. So I got my notes ready, tone the music down, let's get right to business. COVID-19, the coronavirus, the impact is absolutely beyond measures. I mean, we've had cities on lockdowns, the financial market, we'll get into that, interest rates are dropping. How exactly does the coronavirus, COVID-19 impact the economy? I've definitely heard a lot of my colleagues, fellow realtors, talking in the office about this subject matter. I've also definitely read on the news from a lot of reputable news sources on their take as to what's going to happen. So let's get right to the point. And before we take a look at COVID-19, the coronaviruses, and the impact it has on the real estate market, we have to take a step back to look at the bigger picture. Now I have some notes here with me. Number one thing that you've probably noticed is the stock market. So how has the stock market been impacted? Well, we've seen the Dow Jones Industrial Index drop by an alarming amount of 20% compared to last month. In fact, it had the greatest one single day drop since 1987. And that's just in the United States. So if we look at Canada and we see what's going on, the TSX has dropped roughly 20% too compared to last month. However, experts are saying that the Canadian economy is heading towards a full-blown recession. So it's actually hitting Canada a lot harder than the United States. And every day businesses are being affected. Talk about local businesses, coffee shops are closing down their dining areas. We talk about the tourism industry taking a hit, cruise lines, airlines taking a hit, the casinos in Vegas have all shut down. So, going to sporting events, everything has been shut down. And governments are doing their best. They're stepping in, they're aiding the economy. And the best way for them to do that is by looking at the interest rates. And why that is important to you is because interest rates affects the buyers and sellers directly. Now, in the United States, we've seen them drop the interest rates down to zero. So they dropped it by 100 basis points. Now, in reflection, in the Canadian government has dropped interest rates by 100 basis points over the last couple of weeks, and there is a very good chance they would follow suit to the United States of dropping it even more. And the reason governments do that is they want to cool and calm down the market, and they're doing their best to boost up the buying power in the economy. Now, how will this play out, you might be wondering? Will the dropping of the interest rates really help and impact the economy? That's all to be announced. We have to wait to see how everything plays out. But one thing is certain, that the interest rates directly affects the real estate market. So let's talk about what's going on in the real estate market. Okay, we're going to talk about buyers, we're going to talk about sellers, we're going to talk about investors. Let's start with buyers. So over the last quarter, I would say, of 2019, we've seen a tremendous amount of upswing of the Canadian real estate market from about August of 2019 all the way throughout December, January and February. We had strong months. If you just compare the monthly sales numbers and the sales ratios compared to the year previous, we have seen that the real estate market has picked up tremendously. Now, with the COVID-19 in play, it's definitely going to impact the real estate market, and specifically for buyers, because buyers are a little bit less certain of what's going to happen. There's a lot of ambiguity in the market right now, and the buyers are going to be holding off, right? Because of that, they don't really know how the market's going, and they rather wait on the sidelines until this whole thing plays out, right? Another thing to consider too, a lot of the buyers' down payments is actually directly tied to the financial markets and their RSPs or their investments, and so when the market takes a dip like this, a lot of the buyers won't have enough down payment to either complete on the properties that they wrote on or on the properties that they wanted to purchase. And so we're going to see a lot of deals collapsing for sure, and that's just going to be a trend that's going to be carried on forward simply because buyers don't have the down payment fund ready. Now let's talk about sellers. I mean, the biggest issue that I see is with social isolation in play, it is highly recommended against the government and health authorities to allow random strangers or visitors to visit your home, because that is your safety net. And definitely if that's the situation, then I'm sure sellers are not going to be likely to just allow a random person to walk throughout their house, because they don't really know where that person has been and which other individuals that person has been in contact with. And not only homeowners, we're seeing a lot of tenants not wanting to show the unit that they're currently being tenanted in for the same reasons, safety precautions. And also, if buyers are a little bit hesitant, sellers are gonna be thinking the same thing along the lines of that. So sellers are gonna be thinking, well, if the buyers aren't really going to be buying, then I should kind of wait it out to see what happens before I decide to sell, right? Last but not least, investors. Now, investors are usually the sharpest tool in the tech. And when I say that, I mean investors are on it. They're all about reading patterns, reading charts, analyzing numbers, and seeing if it makes sense based off a purely statistical, analytical decision. So when there's a lot of ambiguity and uncertainty in the market, definitely investors are going to take a step back and not pull the trigger on a lot of decisions that they make. They might even back out on a lot of deals, and we've seen that happening for sure. And the reason for that is the uncertainty makes the investor not want to take the plunge, because to them, they're purely about numbers. And when there is no direct indication of where the numbers are heading or where the market is heading, then they're a lot more hesitant to really do anything. And also, nothing is really making sense in the market right now. I mean, we have a lot of stocks based off supply and demand in the market that should be going up in price, but they're not. And we've also seen, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, take a slight increase by 5% today, but the next day it's going to drop below 20% dip again. So there's a lot of variables in the market right now and a lot of uncertainty. And another thing to consider is when it comes to real estate, usually the spring market is when everything happens, right? Sellers hold off till spring to sell. Buyers usually hoard the market come springtime. So definitely everything is on standstill. I mean, there are still deals that are going on, but for majority of the part, a lot of my clients have decided to kind of take a step back and kind of be on the sidelines to wait how this whole thing plays out. So definitely, we're definitely not seeing the momentum of the spring market that we need to carry us throughout the year. And definitely that's going to impact a lot of people's decisions in terms of relocating, moving, upsizing, downsizing. A lot of sellers are definitely going to be holding back their plans. A lot of buyers might just consider, whether they're first-time homebuyers, consider keeping on renting for the time being, or if buyers are looking to upsize, they're going to hold off for the time being just because of safety precautions, and because people really don't know what direction the market's going to take. It might keep on going down, it might correct and go up, and people want to make sure there's at least a certain percentage of certainty before they take any actions or steps moving forward, especially when it comes to, I mean, the biggest purchase of anyone's lifetime, their home, right? So that's what we're kind of seeing. Definitely let me know how your market's doing, because I'm curious to see. I know a lot of the major markets from Vancouver, Toronto, even down in Los Angeles are being heavily affected by the coronavirus, and even cities are on lockdown. Like even San Francisco is on total lockdown. Calgary, I believe, is on lockdown as well, and many major cities may just follow suit. So what's really important here is you want to make sure that you inform and you keep your clients, your buyers and sellers educated in a time like this, to make sure they're fully aware of the circumstances and the risk at hand, but also the potential opportunity that there is out there, for them to not only sell before the market picks up after this thing is sorted out, or for them to buy, because there aren't a lot of buyers that are actively looking, competing for properties right now. So it's really important that you educate your clients, and if you're a consumer, it's really important that you consult with your trusted real estate agent, and you also keep very close tabs to the news and what's going on. Once again, my name is John Lee. I'm your local realtor, aka the Property Shark. If you have any further questions, or if you're curious to see if this is the right time for you to make a real estate decision, I'd definitely be more than happy to give you a no obligation consultation to see if it's the right time for you to act by laying out your pros and cons. But most importantly, I want to know what's happening in your market. If you're a realtor, let me know how your market's doing, how you think the coronavirus, COVID-19 will impact your real estate market. Let me know what you think about interest rates. Do you think it's going to have positively impact and affect the market? Is it going to affect it negatively? Will it not make a difference? Let me know what you think about that too. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to look and watch this video, and I hope you found tremendous value. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel for more awesome content, and as well comment if you have any questions below, or reach out to me. Okay, take care. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day.